is a Hollywood story, again, that I don't really care about that much in itself, but I care about the political implications. Hugh Jackman and his wife are divorcing after 27 years of marriage. I really like Hugh Jackman. I think he is a tremendous, not only actor, but performer generally. I've seen this guy on Broadway. He's just a tremendous performer. And he's always struck me as a nice guy. Compared to the demons running around Hollywood, he seems relatively normal and grounded and sort of nice. And he just all around seems like a decent fellow. And so it's very sad that this guy, one of the things that really spoke to his character is that he had been married for 27 years. By Hollywood standards, that is an eternity. That is the longest marriage ever. And now, sadly, it seems they're going to split up. And here's the statement that they made. We have been blessed to share almost 3 decades together. Our journey now is shifting, and we have decided to separate to pursue our individual growth. This is what I can't stand about it. And you hear this again and again in modern divorce statements. They say, Lord, we're so happy. What a wonderful time we've spent together. But now we're going to have a conscious decoupling of that time. It's so wonderful to pursue what really matters, which is, of course, our individual growth. And so that's really great. And it's so happy. No, it's not happy, man. It's a tragedy. It's a tragedy anytime a marriage breaks down. And you should be deeply sad. We should all be deeply sad about it because it's a public matter. Because when you get married, you take a vow before a minister and the public and God, and you enter into society because the fundamental unit of society is the family. And I get that marriages break down. And I get that there's been divorce for a very, very long time. There's been divorce for all of history. Sometimes it's been illegal, and so the state has clamped down on it, and it happens less frequently. In our culture, you can get divorced because you don't like the way the wind is blowing that day. We have no-fault divorce. But anytime it happens, it's a tragedy. So even if you accept the fact that it will happen, at the very least, you should say, this is sad. We're sorry this happened. But no, we can't do that anymore. We have to, no, it's actually good. It's good. Because we're going to do the most important thing, which is pursue our individual growth. Well, you're not. What is conducive to your individual growth is remaining married. That's what's conducive to it, because you're not just a free-floating atom in outer space. You're part of society. You're the social creature and the political animal. And so what did they say? Why did it break down? A spokesman for the Jackmans say that the writers' strike has contributed to it because they've been stuck around at home a little bit more, I guess, and the pandemic, the lockdowns. And this is really, really sad too, because I wonder, of all of the terrible things that came out of those completely unnecessary lockdowns, they were politically necessary for the liberals. They were financially beneficial to the biggest corporations on earth. The lockdowns represented the largest shift in wealth from the lower classes to the upper classes ever in human history. But they were, from a standpoint of public health, completely unnecessary. And what happened as a result? People didn't get to see their loved ones before they died. People didn't get to bury their loved ones. People put off weddings. People put off their school. People lost their graduations. People lost prom. And I wonder, how many marriages broke down because of this? How many? When you upend all of the norms and routines of society, things are going to break. Things did break economically, politically, but all the way down to the family. How many marriages broke up because the Democrats wanted to lock the country down because there was an election the next year? Among perhaps other reasons, but I think that's probably chief among them. How many? Right now, text Knowles, K-N-O-W-L-E-S, to 989898. Vladimir Putin called the U.S. dollar's drop in dominance, quote, objective and irreversible, as Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa formally agreed to use local currencies in trade instead of the U.S. dollar. As demand for the dollar weakens, the buying power of the dollar weakens. That is why Birch gold is busier than ever. Investors and savers are looking to harness the power of physical gold held in a tax-sheltered IRA. You can too. You can protect your IRA or 401k by diversifying with gold from Birch Gold. As the U.S. dollar continues to receive pressure from foreign countries' digital currency and central banks, Arm yourself with information on how to protect your savings. Learn if gold is right for you too. Text Knowles, K-N-W-L-E-S, to 989898. They will send you a free info kit on gold. With an A-plus rating with the Better Business Bureau, thousands of happy customers, and countless 5-star reviews, I trust Birch Gold to help you diversify into gold. If a central bank digital currency becomes a reality, it'll be nice to have some gold to depend on. So text Knowles, K-N-W-L-E-S, to 989898. Are you a few years, maybe even a few decades out of school and wondering, what did I even learn? And what was the point? You might think to yourself that you don't have time to learn something new. Well, if that's you, then know this, you're not alone. It's not too late. Since 1844, Hillsdale College has been providing education in faith, freedom, and character. They've taken some of the core classes they teach on campus and made them available for free online for anyone who wants to learn. That's right, for free. There are 39 free courses to choose from, ranging from the U.S. Constitution, the Book of Genesis, to free market economics. They're easy to follow. They're self-paced, so you can start whenever you want. In fact, you can start right now. It's everything you need, all in one place, no long-term commitment. Let Hillsdale College be your guide. As all of the universities around America collapse, Hillsdale is one of the very few beacons of hope. Learn what you want when you want. Go to hillsdale.edu/Knowles, K-N-W-L-E-S, to enroll. There's no cost. Very easy to get started. Hillsdale.edu/Knowles to register. Hillsdale.edu/Knowles. Speaking of breaking up, Republican Congressman Nancy Mace, who is a liberal Republican, but sometimes she takes the right sides on political fights. She has gone on ABC News, and she has raised the prospect of replacing Kevin McCarthy as Speaker.
So you've seen Matt Gaetz come out, not just Matt Gaetz, but him most loudly and prominently saying that he's going to push to oust McCarthy, motion to vacate. Could you see yourself under any circumstances supporting a motion to vacate?
It hasn't happened yet, and I'm not going to, comment on conjecture here. Either he's going to file it or he's not. If he's going to do it, put his money where his mouth is. I do hear that some votes might be up for grabs because people were made promises that have not been kept.
What about your vote? Is it up for grabs? Could you?
We'll see how it turns out, but I will tell you, I'm one of those members who were made certain promises. I've worked on women's issues. I've worked on issues, related to gun violence I feel are very important. And, it's fallen on deaf ears. And if I give a handshake to someone, I expect them to follow through with it.
Wow, so you don't rule out supporting that, do you think?
I might, you know what? Everything's on the table at this point for me.
Good honor. Good honor. I kind of like her siding with the more conservative members here and trying to get a little bit of leverage on the House Speaker. I generally have thought McCarthy is fine. I thought he's a lot better than John Boehner. Until I heard that story that I mentioned yesterday that has not been reported anywhere else, that McCarthy seems to be pushing the vulnerable members of the Republican caucus to lay off the Bud Light boycott. And I heard that story, and then I heard some of the evidence for it. I heard about the way he was doing it through the supposedly private sector, and I thought, I hope that's not true. I certainly hope that's not true, and it's a miscommunication, and they just give it up. That started to weaken my general feelings of goodwill for Kevin McCarthy. But the reason that I can't go all the way with the hardcore far right-wing extreme Republicans on Kevin McCarthy's speakership is my question, which is, who follows him? Who follows McCarthy? Do I think McCarthy is some rock-ribbed right-wing conservative? No, I don't. But he's better than the last few Republican speakers we've had. And then my question is, who else is it going to be? Remember, they challenged McCarthy for speaker. The conservative members did. But then nobody wanted it. Some people said, well, maybe Jim Jordan will do it. Jim Jordan didn't want to do it. Nobody wants that job. It's probably the most thankless job in Washington. Very difficult to wrangle a caucus like the Republicans, which is very diverse, unlike the Democrats, which, other than one or two representatives like Quell are, who are a little more conservative, they're all just progressives. They're all just leftists. In the Republican Party, you got some liberals, you got some conservatives, you got some more populist type candidates, you got some more nationalist type candidates, you got some more globalist type. So that's hard to wrangle them. Who comes next? This is always my question when the libs talk about how they want to assassinate Vladimir Putin. So, you want to take out Putin? Okay, who's next? Who's next? Who? You don't even know anything about who's next. You don't know anything about Russia. You just know Putin's the bad guy, so you want it. But sometimes the devil you know is better than the devil you don't. Remember Saddam Hussein was the devil? Then what happened? When he left, it wasn't necessarily an improvement. Same thing with Muammar Gaddafi in Libya. Certainly the same thing with Hosni Mubarak, who was actually an ally of ours in Egypt. Who comes next? That's the question. We'll see. But if McCarthy keeps playing games like this, keeps trying to loosen the Bud Light boycott, I don't know. The pressure to boost him out of office might increase. Boy, what a great clip that was. It was good. Well, I agree. Now, if you want more of it, you got to ring that bell. Subscribe to the Michael Knowles Show, and we'll see you next time.